Okay, I want to run through a few other commodities just to get your thoughts. Are you watching the copper sector right now? And do you have any opinion there, Florian?
I'm watching it, of course, but I mean, we've seen a nice spike, a very nice rally into May, and now we're correcting. And I don't feel the sector is ready for like anything in terms of big new highs. I mean, we will have a bounce. I think we're very oversold here, so that could be interesting over the next few weeks. Yes, but I think overall, it's always the same that you see in the commodity space. You see these crazy spikes, and then it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years until the market is basically has digested that move or that thing that happened, this crazy spike when everybody tried to buy into it. And it's often that the industrial demand basically freaks out. These people have to make sure they have the supply for the next 1, 2, 3 years, and it doesn't play maybe a huge part in their whole assessment of what they need in terms of materials. So they don't care, like, just make sure we have the copper for the next 2 years, buy it now before it goes even higher. And that creates these crazy spikes that you see in the commodity sector. And then it takes 1, 2, 3 years until the market is calmed down, digested the move, and is ready for the next spike, so to speak. So we've seen that, for example, in nickel 2 years ago. I think there was this massive spike. It took quite a while. Everybody who bought too late into that spike basically, bought way too late and has been suffering for a long time. And I feel like copper probably also needs more time to be really ready for new highs, but a nice bounce from here, yes.
Real quick break here, guys. If you are a mining investor, you are without question familiar with the Golden Triangle region in British Columbia. This is one of the most prolific mining regions in the world due to its vast deposits of gold, silver, and copper. Now, for the last 4 years, Dolly Varden Silver has been busy expanding their high-grade silver deposit in the Triangle, and they are backed by some of the smartest investors in the silver business, including the legendary Eric Sprott, Hecla Mining, US Global Investors, Fidelity, Delbrook Capital, Sprott Resource Corp, and more. If you are curious why the smartest money in the silver business is cozying up to Dolly Varden Silver, then hit the link beneath this video. And at this price, there's been, like a decent amount of M&A activity or M&A attempts. BHP's obvious almost takeover of Anglo a few months back. And this morning they announced they had purchased Jose Maria in partnership with Lundin Mining, which is interesting because it made sense. A company like BHP, they want to buy production. And so they're looking at companies like Anglo, but Filo and Jose Maria, which they've now acquired, are best case scenario a decade away from producing and a couple $2 billion away from producing. And that kind of foresight from a producer surprised me with the acquisition. Do you have any thoughts on that transaction? Do you expect M&A to heat up, continue in the copper sector? What's your take, Florian?
I think generally M&A should heat up. I'm surprised that it has not happened in the gold sector. And yes, in the copper sector, it's necessary and it will intensify, I think. We all know that it takes at least 10 years to build a mine. And we all know that the big producers, the majors constantly need to fill up their resources and reserves. And that's usually only possible if they take over and buy smaller companies. The copper price had a nice run up, so some of the big producers have enough cash to do these deals nowadays, and I think there will be more happening. Yes, but it's also more tricky because it's slowly but surely. I believe that copper will also move into some form of a critical kind of metal, right? It's becoming more and more part of this whole geopolitical kind of thing between East and West. I mean, if you go to Dubai, you see so many electric cars. Go to China, you see so many electric cars everywhere now. The Chinese taking over. Here in Germany, it's still lagging. You have to tell me how it is in Canada, but this thing is continuing, and the world needs more copper. And the Chinese have been buying up most of Africa and trying to get their hands on South America. So these moves are necessary, and they should be taken as soon as possible, I guess, by the big majors in the Western world, which basically belongs to the American friendly kind of camp. And I think that will intensify over the years for sure, drastically.